Anglo-American analytical philosophers of the last century made a big song and dance about the distinction they saw between two kinds of knowledge. The distinction is encapsulated in these two sentences. I know Jill, and I know that Jill is a rocket scientist. The philosophers said that the first kind of knowledge is knowledge by acquaintance and the second, knowledge by description. In their haste to elevate the English language to the level of the highest truth, they forgot that many other languages have solved the problem already. In German the sentences are Ich kenne Jill and ich weiß, dass Jill eine Raketenwissenschaftlerin ist. In Finnish they are Tunnen Jillin and Tiedän, että Jill on rakettitieteilijä. As you can see, these two languages, and there are many others, make the distinction by using different words, kennen, wissen, and tuntea, tietää. But this Anglo-American short-sightedness became an important cornerstone of analytical, which is essentially positivistic, theory of knowledge. It skipped knowledge by acquaintance and concentrated on descriptive knowledge, also called declarative knowledge or propositional knowledge. This is the type of knowledge that is, by its very nature, expressed in declarative sentences or indicative propositions. This promoted a linguistic turn in epistemology. The philosophers of this school started with an analysis of beliefs, though. The first answer to the question what constitutes descriptive or propositional knowledge is justified true beliefs. To have knowledge about P, and P could be anything that can be expressed by a sentence, I must believe that P, like I believe that Jill is a rocket scientist. But I must also have reason to believe that P, some evidence that she really is a rocket scientist. And importantly, P must be true. What that means is another kettle of fish, and we'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, let's illustrate this by an example. P stands for there is a sheep in the field. Now, if I'm looking over a field and see a sheep in the field, in an ideal case I know that there is a sheep in the field. But things may not be ideal. I may be looking over a field and see a fluffy dog that looks very much like a sheep. If there is no sheep in the field, I do not in this case know that P. However, to complicate matters further, a philosopher called Edmund Gettier presented in 1962 the following paradox or problem. As before, I'm looking over the field and seeing a fluffy dog. But unbeknown to me, there is also a sheep in the field, hidden behind a big rock. In this case, do I know that P? I believe it, I have some reason to believe it, and it is true. So according to the classical formulation, I seem to know it. But since my supposed knowledge is based on faulty evidence, the sighting of the dog, and a coincidence, the hidden sheep, something seems to be amiss here. Since 1962, hundreds of philosophical papers have been written on the topic, some arguing that the Gettier problem sinks the classical definition of knowledge altogether, others providing defenses of the definition. I know, that is, I am acquainted with many academics in real philosophy departments who have made a career of thinking about this. It is one of the reasons that made me escape those departments 20 years ago. With all due respect, I cannot see myself thinking about dogs in the field and sheep behind rocks for decades. As a very cut and dry feet on the ground philosopher myself, the Gettier problem for me is just a reminder that we need to pay attention to the quality of our evidence. Going back to the Turku train example, we must make sure that the train is really departing for Helsinki and that there are no other trains departing for Helsinki on the tracks that I don't see. This applies to anything that we do as researchers, regardless of our methodology. We may be studying collective sense-making in a workplace or cancer ward, but we still need to get our basic facts right first. Did the workers really say that? Did they mean it? Was there a doctor within earshot when the nurse or patient said what they did, and did that have an effect on their responses? Anyway, let's move more explicitly from belief to propositions to get to the truth, and by that I mean to get to the question, what is truth?